Silly punks, Batman owns the night. Now taste fear, you... Wait.
I bet you're wondering how we got here. Well, let me tell you. This is how it happened. This is how the Batman got broken. So, a little movie called Knightfall will be releasing this week, and I decided to cover that story here. But when I looked it up...
Oh, damn!
Well, let's just say I had to condense it for a video that you all would actually want to sit through that isn't 4 hours. So, a few things to start with. Knightfall is a story mainly about Bane wearing Batman down so that major moment can happen. To do this, Bane releases a crap ton of prisoners from Arkham. The story treats this like a sort of gauntlet that Batman has to make his way through. Because there's so much going on with all this, we're gonna put it in like rounds. So each gauntlet will be like its own round. The first round will be like the D to Z tier criminals, almost the no names. The second round will be the middle ground criminals, those you've seen in cartoons most likely, but aren't like top dogs. And the third round will be the big dogs. Alright? Well, let's get started. Bane, as I said earlier, busts all the Arkham inmates out of Arkham. We're talking Joker, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Crocodile. Autocorrect. Never fails. Anyway, Killer Croc. Riddler. This autocorrect is crazy, y'all. It has riddles here. Anyway. Damn near every rogue that Batman has fought, yeah, he let him out. Batman actually has a list of pretty much all the escaped criminals, and he actually said something along the lines of, why? It's like someone specifically did this to say F you, Batman, and yeah, Batman, they kind of did. So the Mad Hatter is the first person in round 1 that Batman fights. One thing to note here is that Batman is apparently already suffering from some kind of sickness or ailment, because Robin does mention it early on in the comic that he isn't 100%. I won't make you all sit through every detail of every encounter. Just know that Batman and Robin show up, beat the Hatter, and move to the next target. What is important here is that the Hatter sent a pretty no-name criminal named Film Freak into the city. He runs into Bane, and well, there's a reason why people don't hear the name Film Freak too often. Bane has 3 henchmen working for him, and one of them has a pet falcon. Batman called them the Falconers in this story, so we're gonna call him the Falconer. Falconer pretty much watches and reports to Bane about all of Batman's encounters. And Batman's next fight takes him to the ventriloquist and someone named Amygdala. Amygdala is basically a big strong guy who's crazy. That's really all you need to know about him. Robin gets out of the Batmobile to help Batman deal with him, and Batman tells him to stay there and keep watch. He also told Robin to stay behind against the Mad Hatter as well, so keep that in mind. Now, Batman goes in, gets snuck by Amygdala, and pretty much has to deal with both of them. Meanwhile, Robin... Whoa! Robin! You okay, dog? Sorry, you kind of caught me off guard. Anyway, Robin noticed the Falcon and confronts Falconer on a rooftop. And he then proceeds to get his ass kicked. But hey, what can you do? Batman beats Amygdala, but the ventriloquist managed to get away. Batman monologues to himself throughout pretty much every one of these fights, and he's talking about how tired he is and, you know, just the struggle. But I'm not gonna bring up every time he does it, because he does it like in literally every fight. Like he's gonna monologue in his head like, whew, god damn. But it is important to note that yes, even right now, early on, he's exhausted. Now, the next major situation involves Zsasz. He has some women trapped in a building, and the police are crap at their job and can't save them. So eventually Batman makes his way into the building. And then he's shocked to find that Robin is already in there. They're in the dark and they accidentally kind of go at each other's throats. But when Batman realizes that it's Robin and Robin realizes it's Batman, of course they stop choking each other. And Batman tells Robin that he shouldn't be there and that Robin is basically needed to do other things, like get out of the way. So Robin's like, all right, man. Well, Falconer's out there somewhere, so how about I go tell him? And Batman's like, yeah, cool. Just, see if you can find Bane. So Robin leaves again. Batman deals with Zsasz. Long story short, Zsasz compares himself to Batman, and Batman beats the crap out of him. So much so that Detective Renee Montoya has to stop Batman from nearly breaking Zsasz's neck. And yeah, Batman himself had to like, whoa. I almost broke this guy's neck. Might need to chill out. So while all this is going down, Robin did indeed find Falconer, and he does find Bane as well. Robin tried to tell Bane when Bane left, but ended up getting himself kidnapped. Batman damn near passed out on the roof after his exchange with Zsasz, and basically makes his way back to the Batcave after not hearing from Robin. We then see that Robin is tied up in the sewer, and Bane is basically grilling him about Batman's secrets, wanting to know everything about him, and Robin is like,
No, I don't think I will.
So Bane starts to get a little agitated, but then Killer Croc shows up, and because prior to this, apparently he and Bane had a powwow and Bane broke both his arms, Croc kind of wants to get back. So Bane hides, and then Croc shows up and takes the blindfold off of Robin, and then Bane attacks from out of nowhere. But Croc busts the venom machine on Bane's wrist, and Robin takes his time to run for your life and pretty much gets away. He gets back to the Batcave to tell Batman what happened, and Batman basically benches him, as if he wasn't benching him already anyway. But now this brings us to round 2. Now, there's a lot that happens in round 2, so let me get to the important parts. The Joker decides to hire this knockoff Scarecrow guy for a scheme to use fear. And like Gordon is his first victim, but it really didn't go well because Batman shows up and beats the guy. And then like as this happened, Scarecrow actually shows up to Joker's like, yo, what's up? I mean, why would you go get like Pepsi Scarecrow? The real Scarecrow's right here. So they actually team up. And by the time Batman beats this knockoff Scarecrow guy, he of course mentions again, he's like, I'm beat, man. I ain't fought the big dogs yet, dog. I ain't fought no Jokers, no Crocs, man. I don't know how to do it. He's like, I might be screwed. But the important thing to note here is that Joker and Scarecrow kidnapped the mayor of Gotham. And while they're doing this, the ventriloquist who escaped kidnaps, I think, a district attorney. Both of these things happen basically in the background, and they really aren't relevant majorly until basically round 3. With that said, round 2 is basically Poison Ivy and Firefly. That's really kind of it. Firefly is first up, and he's attacking this what looks like fairground. Batman and Robin show up, and Batman's like, stay here, and then goes to fight Firefly. If you hadn't noticed it yet by now, Batman is literally telling Robin to get out of the way and sit still in every fight. And yes, it is getting on Robin's nerves. And you have to think, if he was letting Robin actually help, maybe he would be a little less tired, a little less fatigued, a little less sore or something. But in Batman's mind, it's like, nope, I got it. And this does bite him in the butt, like later on, but now as well, because Firefly basically puts Batman on his ass and gets away. In fact, in this moment, Robin actually has to save him because he doesn't have the strength to save himself. And Robin tells him that, hey man, you gotta let me help, alright? And Batman's like, alright, you know what, fine. You wanna help? Go do some detective work, figure out what this mofo is gonna show up next, alright? That's what you can do. And while you're doing that, I guess I go home and try to relax somehow. Which he really doesn't do, honestly, because not long after that, he's back on the streets fighting crime. And while we're talking about fighting crime, I should mention that John Paul Valley has been doing the same. Obviously, he's a big part of this story. If you know the story. If you don't, I won't say too much right now. But just know John Paul is here. He's just not present in this part of the story. But just know he's trying to prove himself. While Batman is fighting crime, Robin lets him know that he was able to track down 3 different locations that Firefly could attack. Batman finds him at one of the 3 locations and fights him again, only for Firefly to basically get away again because Batman is tired. I mean, look at this man. And since we're showing this picture, let's go ahead and get to the next fight. Poison Ivy. There's some type of gala going on that Bruce has to attend. In fact, I think Wayne may be over it. Wayne Enterprises may be over it. And of course he's tired, but he's like, well, I mean, this is a major, rich person event. So, some criminal could show up and, I need to be there. And unbeknownst to him, Bane is watching from a nearby rooftop with Falconer. It's funny saying Falconer all the time because it's like, I think Falcon, but I also think like Bruce Falconer, the guy who did the Dragon Ball Z music. Anyway, Falconer mentions that Bruce Wayne is there, and Bane looks at Bruce through the binoculars. He's like, yeah, that's not Bruce Wayne, that's Batman. And Falconer's like, well, yeah, huh? How do you know that? And Bane is like, because I'm Bane. Well, actually, he says he knows his prey, but I figured the other thing sounded cooler. Of course, given that Bane is banking on Batman being exhausted, you can look at Bruce and tell that he's exhausted. I mean, it's not hard to put 2 and 2 together, right? Meanwhile, Poison Ivy. Whoa! What the? Black Widow, is that you? Damn! I see why Scarlett Johansson is rumored to be Poison Ivy in the Batman, because, damn! She looked just like Natasha in the comics. Anyway, Ivy has these mindless goons working for her, and they crash the gala. She uses these spores and nearby plants to control everybody and make them pretty much be, well, mind control zombies, if you will, to go to her hideout. They go get in this van and they drive off. Bruce actually noticed these spores, and at the last minute was able to put like these nose plugs in to keep himself from being affected. So he's just playing pretend until he figures out what Ivy is up to. Once Ivy decides to start kissing the hostages, Bruce ducks off, changes into his Batman outfit, and throws a batarang smack into Ivy's mouth. Damn, Batman. Just right for the face, huh? Anyway, they have a back and forth and she sicks her minions on him, and he pretty much beats all of them and then manages to throw one of them into Ivy before she can kiss Lucius Fox. At this point, Ivy is pretty much disarmed. She's laying on the ground. She got no fight in her because she just got knocked over. So her and Batman have another quick conversation. And damn, bro, Batman, what the fuck? Why you doing like that?
The hammer of justice is unisex.
Goddamn, man, he kicked her like she was the Joker or something. I guess Batman's excuse is that he's tired. He ain't got time for this bull. So Ivy gets locked up, maimed maybe, but locked up. While all this was going on, Riddler took over this talk show. It really doesn't matter too much because Robin handled it, so it's not really part of Batman's gauntlet. Batman does track down Firefly once more at a zoo. This time he's wearing like this fire-resistant suit, which is helpful until animals get involved. Batman gets attacked by this leopard and it starts like clawing and scratching at his suit, and he pulls out this spray from his utility belt and pretty much sprays the leopard, and the leopard gets like disoriented long enough for Batman to escape. And then we get this conversation he has as he's escaping from the leopard, and this one really stuck out to me. Batman basically says flame-proof suit is cumbersome, add to that exhaustion and injuries, and I'm not exactly at the top of my form. Then he says, stop complaining, keep moving, your problems don't matter, only Gotham matters. Notice I said this conversation is happening in his head, so this is like him talking to himself. It's almost like the man portion, or let's just say the Bruce portion, is like, hey boss, I'm tired. But the Batman portion is like, screw that, I'm Batman. Anyway, Batman does beat Firefly and kind of struggles as he heads out. now we can get to the round 3. This is the big dogs round. I already told you about Joker and Scarecrow kidnapping the mayor. They've had them basically make these random calls to like the fire department, causing chaos and making them go on strike. They caught in like a fake hostage situation involving the mayor, and they told the police that he was at this place only for it to be a trap. And like the unit that went in, let's just say that that unit is let's just say they're in Valhalla. And now the Joker is like, yeah, you know what? This is fun and all, but we gotta take care of Batman. Scarecrow's kind of like, screw Batman. We want Gotham. And Joker's like, dog, Batman is Gotham, all right? You can't have Gotham with Batman running around out there. So they orchestrate another situation to lure Batman in. They take the mayor to these river tunnels. Now, of course, Batman does hear about this on the radio and goes to take care of the situation. He shows up and Scarecrow blasts him with fear toxin, which was probably the biggest mistake anyone can make in these comics so far, because guess what's still fresh on Batman's mind? What's the one thing right now that Batman fears more than anything else? Can you guess? I'll tell you. Losing Robin. And guess what? He has experienced that. It's pretty much been brought up before this moment in the comic. So considering the fact that Batman has already lived and faced this fear in real life, he doesn't get scared, he gets pissed. He gets Scarecrow out of the way before going straight for the Joker. And oh man, Batman beats the brakes off the Joker. And he's referencing Jason Todd. He's literally like, every time he hits the Joker, he's like, Jason Todd, Jason Todd, Jason Todd. And he's just continuously saying his name while he's beating the crap out of the Joker. So in the midst of this, Scarecrow launches a rocket at a wall, which causes the water to start spilling in. And Batman has to let the Joker and Scarecrow escape so he can go save the mayor. Now the mayor has been doused with enough toxin by this point that he's kind of barely functioning. So Batman basically has to sedate him, then carry him as they swim through this water to an escape hatch, and he has to use all his strength to open this hatch, but he does succeed. After the mayor is returned to the police, Batman rushes to a secluded rooftop because he's basically out of gas. Like, yeah, no one needs to catch me. Like a petty criminal would catch me lacking right now. I need to be like Ghost. I need to be Ghost. I need to not be seen. I just need to hide. So he needs somewhere to collapse for a bit. Unfortunately, this is basically the moment Bane was waiting for. He sends his lackeys after Batman, one of which managed to break one of Batman's ribs. But Batman again does manage to beat all of them, barely. He gets home to the Batcave and notices that Alfred is there to greet him. And he's like, man, come on, dog. I would like some help up the stairs, all right? It's been a struggle out here, man. Where you at, Alfred? I would even deal with your smart ass remarks. I just need some help. So he makes his way up the stairs, only to find that Bane is in his mansion. Like, yo, what up? I knocked your butler out. And Alfred's like right here, unconscious, sitting next. Now look, people, I really don't have to say much about what follows, because Bane and Batman talk for a quick second. You know, the obvious. Why are you doing this to me? How do you know my secret identity? That kind of thing. And Bane's not really giving them solid answers, in my opinion. He basically says he's known him for a long time and that he's always wanted to best him, essentially. And that Batman owns Gotham, but Bane wants Gotham for himself. Now that was a mistake, because for Batman, you don't mention Gotham. You don't ever mention Gotham. That's enough to give him a burst of energy. Usually. This time, he is like a burst of like 2% energy, because Bane beats this mofo all over that damn study. Then he beats his ass down the stairs to the Batcave. Then he beats his ass all over the Batcave. And make no mistake, this is a one-sided ass whooping. Batman can't fight back. And there's this one time where he does land a punch. Well, you'll see it on the screen right here. Yeah, you see that? That's on some Dragon Ball Hercule type stuff. At this point, Bane is like, yeah, this is sad. So he picks up Batman and breaks him because he wants him to live and suffer from this defeat. He didn't want to take him out, and that's how Batman got broken. Yeah, this was a wild read, and there's actually more to Knightfall, but right now we're gonna stop here. I'll come back and talk about Azrael and Batman's eventual return, but the first movie should, I would imagine, only cover this section of the story. So you know the deal. Hit that like button, drop a comment to let me know what you thought about, I guess, part 1 of Knightfall. I mean, this is like the poster part. We've gotten to the poster part of Knightfall, what we just saw here. So let me know what you thought about it, and let me know if you're excited for the next part, and hit that subscribe button for more. And remember,
Wait, what? Oh, God! Oh, my back just snapped like a pack of uncooked spaghetti! Oh, you just walk up and break my back without saying a word! Oh, boo! Boo on you, sir!
Do-do-do-do, that's Bane.